So, today, a once inhabited island in the Chesapeake Bay is a little bit more than just a couple of sandbars. When it was settled in 1660, James Island was a little over 1,300 acres. By the late 1870s, the island had about 24 homes, a store, and a school. Unfortunately, erosion started eating away at the island, reducing it to what it is today. Jay Fleming is a photographer and author of 2 books providing a visual narrative of the environment, communities, and commercial fisheries of islands of the Chesapeake Bay. How are you, sir?
Excellent, thank you.
It's good to see you. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. Now, you are no stranger to the Chesapeake Bay. What is it about the Chesapeake Bay that draws you so much?
Well, I grew up on the bay and was introduced to photography at a pretty young age and learned that my camera could be a pretty valuable tool to tell the stories of the changing environment, the culture, and everything that's really going on the Chesapeake Bay, and an incredible way to educate people as to what's going on and to show people what they can't see.
Yeah. You've been out to James Island several times.
Yes.
Does it surprise you, the changes that you see?
The changes that I saw on James Island didn't surprise me, because even before my time, before I was even born, the island had already been disappearing at a pretty alarming rate. It had been eroding away. But you know, now that the island is really, like you said, just a couple clumps of mud, you know, it's pretty eye-opening to see that island go from what I first saw it in 2015 to essentially nothing.
Yeah, and you were out there just a few weeks ago, is that right?
The first time I went out to James Island, like I said, was in 2015. I was on a trip to photograph the oyster reefs on the Little Choptank River, where James Island's situated. Saw what was there in 2015, then went back again in 2019 when I was working on my book, Island Life, and actually camped out on the island and spent the night there. So I was able to shoot in the evening when the light was nice, and then shoot again in the morning to document what was there in 2019. Then I kept going back time and time again. And through that series of images over the years, that's when I was really able to show the dramatic changes in the island.
How does it feel to stand in what once was a thriving community?
Well, I think it's incredibly sad to see the island completely gone. I mean, that's a lot of land, and that's a lot of, you know, that's a lot of habitat for wildlife, and you know, it helps buffer the adjacent shorelines from erosion. So there's a lot, not only from the human element, there's a lot that's been lost on that island.
Do you think the Corps of Engineers project gives us some hope?
Yeah, I think the Corps of Engineers project that's set to start in 2024, they're actually going to start riprapping, like recreating the shoreline of the island with rocks. I think that's an incredible project that's going to benefit the economy of the state by, you know, maintaining the shipping channels up into Baltimore.
Right.
And it's also going to create an incredible amount of wildlife habitat, like was done on Poplar Island, and protect the adjacent shorelines of Dorchester County from erosion. The recreation of James Island to, I think it's going to be near 2,000 acres, is going to protect a lot of property and, you know, suppress a lot of that wave action coming in from the bay.
Well, thank you for documenting what you've been seeing and the changes and all that. It's absolutely amazing. But I got to ask, have you got any other projects in mind?
Absolutely. I mean, I just finished my second book, Island Life, which focused mainly on Smith Island and Tangier, but also had documentation of James Island, Holland Island, Sharps Island, some of these other formerly inhabited islands. So I'm going to continue to document these islands as they change, but my future photography projects are going to take me up and down the East Coast, working on documenting the commercial fisheries of the Atlantic seaboard.
Yeah. What's the best way for people to see your work?
So if you'd like to see my work, you can follow me on social media. Jay Fleming Photographer on Facebook, Jay Fleming Photography on Instagram, and then my website, jflemingphotography.com, has a lot of my work. And if anybody's further interested in the James Island documentation, they can check out my blog, which is on my website. But really to see the changes in the island. The images tell the story.
Yeah.
Over time. So going back and documenting those shorelines time and time again over the years really tells the story of the disappearance of the island.
Absolutely amazing. We'll be sure to put those links on delmarvalife.com as well. Jay Fleming, photographer and author, thank you for your few minutes with us this afternoon.
Thank you, Jimmy. Appreciate it.